Hey guys, this is my version of Sonic Forces. We cut back to Sonic and the gang putting the Chaos Emeralds where they belong. But then something weird happens. We see green electricity emit from the Master Emerald and go to the Chaos Emeralds, and then in a bright green flash, the Chaos Emeralds are gone. Knuckles says that the Master Emerald hid the Chaos Emeralds because Eggman would just come back here and try to get him. So he's saying that maybe they should when they find the Chaos Emeralds, they should hide it in a different place. So Sonic and the gang immediately go searching. Tails uses satellite and technology to try and find the Chaos Emeralds or pinpoint the closest locations to the Chaos Emeralds. Knuckles hides the Master Emerald, and he tries to use the power he tries to somehow reverse engineer the Master Emerald's energy. So reverse engineer that explosion that teleported the Chaos Emeralds to find out where they could be with the help of Tails. Sonic is the one who will go look for them because he's way faster, while Tails and Knuckles will be nearby, and they'll have the tornado just in case he needs help. But eventually Eggman finds Metal Sonic, and he's in an abandoned ruin. He takes Metal Sonic, and when he's about to leave, he sees writing on the walls. And then they start to glow, pinkish purplish, and Eggman takes this as a sign that maybe you should translate this. And after a while, they do. And, well, not all of it. He manages to get enough information, and the scriptures were talking about something called the Phantom Ruby. The Phantom Ruby is a type of emerald that has an infinite power supply in itself. So it does not need any power source, and it feeds false information to anyone's brain that the user wants to. And it also infiltrates their brain and their body. So then that way, if you get hurt or die in that false reality, the same thing happens. And it can also take older, broken things, like Metal Sonic, for example, fix him and power him up to the next level, turning him into his final version in Sonic Heroes. And it has an infinite power supply, just like the Master Emerald. So this is what Eggman does. He has his robots look for the Phantom Ruby while he looks for the Chaos Emeralds, because he knows that if Sonic and the gang realize that Eggman isn't looking for the emeralds, he's probably trying to get something that'll do it for him. So he's trying to find them before Sonic and his gang can and hopefully get that Phantom Ruby, so then that way he'll always have the Chaos Emeralds. Tails manages to track the most likely location to be near the top of Mount Everest. So they go there, and Tails and Knuckles are on the tornado just in case. One of Eggman's robots sees this and reports it to him. So he quickly hops in his vehicle and goes there, and then he sees them try to get it. And he realizes he has one advantage they don't. He has an energy detector. It helps detect energy, even the faintest of energy. So, Eggman lands near the top of Mount Everest, making sure he's not seen, and he uses that detector. and he finds one of the Chaos Emeralds. But then he gets a massive power surge out of nowhere. Just out of nowhere. And he thinks that, oh, it's too big to be one Chaos Emerald. And then he encounters Sonic. This is what he does. He summons his robots to go and fight him. And he does too, while one sneaky robot gets those two Chaos Emeralds and skedaddles. And that's what happens, and Sonic and the gang fell for it. So, Eggman has now 3 out of the 7 Chaos Emeralds that are needed. Right? But then Tails has an idea. Sonic immediately should go into Eggman's theme park because he knows that the theme park is still here. Is still there, but it's just not as guarded. And it may have vital info, while going to Eggman's direct base will be too risky, so that's what they do. And they manage to find something. They find Eggman's current project on getting the Phantom Ruby and his tricks trying to deceive them. They get all the information they can out of the computers at the Eggman land. And they decide to leave it up because they haven't been detected. So maybe in the future, when they need some vital info, it could be at Eggman land. So they get out of there. And they realize that this thing has massive potential. So Tails starts working on an underground bunker. He makes sure that it cannot be detected by radio signals or any signals. And that it is super hard to get into. So while he's working on that, Sonic tries to find the Phantom Ruby first, while Knuckles gets the Chaos Emeralds, while Tails makes the bunker and checks on the Master Emerald. And that's what happens. But they are stopped by a broken Metal Sonic. This version of Metal Sonic looks completely broken. Looks even more damaged than when Sonic defeated him. And he wonders, how is it still alive? Then he realizes that maybe Eggman had already found it. So he talks to Tails and he tells him to hide the Master Emerald and to hide the bunker and come to this location. And he does. And then Knuckles has an idea. Maybe that Tails could quickly make a energy detector, so then that way they can tell. So then that way they can know what's going on. And Tails does. And then he's near the battle scene and he uses it and he says that there's no energy detector. There's none of it. And then Sonic says that maybe Eggman's using the Phantom Ruby's powers to distort into a new reality. No, to distort our brains in a scene that the energy detector says no energy detected, even though there is. Right? And then the gang see it. It's a Chaos Emerald, kinda. This Chaos Emerald is just completely black, and they wonder if it's drawn out of its energy. And then Sonic has another idea. Tails should try to hack into Metal Sonic to get any data he can out of it, and that's what happens. Sonic, distracts Metal Sonic, while this is what happens. Sonic can punch hard, but Knuckles has more force. So Sonic tries to distract Metal Sonic while Knuckles punches Metal Sonic while Tails is getting all the data. And then he finds out that this is an artificially made Chaos Emerald. Apparently, Eggman had found a part of the Phantom Ruby's power source. Apparently, he didn't find it. He knew what it was, actually. Apparently, it used some part of dark energy. And Eggman found a couple of them, but not enough to make a whole Chaos Emerald out of it. So he made his own artificial version. So this is the first ever Dark Chaos Emerald. But then that does answer the question on how it wasn't being picked up at all. And then Sonic and then Knuckles realizes, hey, maybe it's because the energy detector only detects positive energy, and this is using negative electricity. And he'll double checks this, and that's what happened. And that's the most likely explanation. And then Tails has an idea. He quickly hits Metal Sonic with a tornado, and he's grabbing on. Tails is in the air while Knuckles and Sonic watch, and he's grabbing on, and he's trying to break out. He's trying to break the tornado, but Tails had a idea about this. Like, it's happened too many times, Eggman breaking the tornado. So what Tails did was that he installed an electric force field on the bottom of the tornado, and that's what he uses. And then Metal Sonic falls off, and he's just getting tumbled, and then he lands at the bottom of Mount Everest. So Sonic quickly checks while Tails and Knuckles investigate to see if there's anything they can get out of the battle scene. And Tails finds a shard of that emerald. Sonic checks, and Metal Sonic's even more destroyed. It's practically his endoskeleton. You can see all his wiring. There's no trace of his outer shell, but yet he grabs Sonic and then hits him onto the ground. And then something weird happens. Metal Sonic takes his arm up, and then he sees electricity, but it's dark forming. You know, it's like dark electricity forming. And then he sees a small black, a black hole, not a black circle forming, and it gets bigger. And then Metal Sonic tries to hit Sonic with it, but then Sonic tries to dodge it, but he still ends up getting hit. He tells the rest of the gang what's going on. And Knuckles quickly, and want to know what Knuckles does? He hangs on to the tornado while Tails flies down to the crime scene. So, like, the crime scene's here, and Metal Sonic and Sonic are fighting, and then Tails' tornado is here, and then Knuckles is hanging on. Knuckles drops down on a Metal Sonic, and then grabs him, and then hits him onto the ground. But then Metal Sonic quickly hits him back, too fast for Knuckles to react, and Knuckles gets hit, and he's actually kind of bleeding a little. Tails analyzes what's in the data, and then Metal Sonic tries to get Tails, because, you know, Tails might figure out the weakness. So, Sonic grabs Knuckles and then starts to spin, and then throws Knuckles at Metal Sonic while he's flying to the tornado, and it's a hit, and Metal Sonic comes flying down. And you can even see some of his wires being broken. A lot of them already are, but even more now. But he's still going. And then Tails figures out that the only way to combat him, the way to stop Metal Sonic, would be to get the energy of the Chaos Emerald, of the Chaos Emeralds. Right? But then he pulls the shard out, but then it's just gray. It's like when the Chaos Emeralds were drained of its energy. It's like it's drained and he double checked. Metal Sonic already got that energy out. So Tails uses that to make a artificial Chaos Emerald. It's not close. It's not even close as powerful. No, it's not like a little bit weaker than the regular Chaos Emeralds. Right? But then how will he use it? Tails has to land down and make a blaster that absorbs the energy and shoots while we are still fighting Metal Sonic, and that's what Tails does. But a part of the tornado gets hit, not the wings, but one of the power sources. So he has two power sources left, which means now that since there's no third power source, the thing that absorbs the fake Chaos Emerald's energy and shoots it needs to be on cooldown. So yeah, Sonic distracts while Knuckles is an offense guy. What he does is that he makes Metal Sonic think that he's about to hit him. And then when Metal Sonic dodges, he gets hit by the beam, and eventually he falls to the ground. And then Knuckles grabs that emerald, and he sees that a part of it that was supposed to be broken is already repaired. Right? So they grab Metal Sonic and the Chaos Emerald, and they have to go two separate ways. Sonic grabs the Chaos Emerald while Tails and Knuckles get Metal Sonic, and they don't go to the Resistance base. They go to a nearby destroyed and abandoned Eggman base, which they have managed to make usable. They go there and they analyze Metal Sonic, and they get all the data they can out of it. They get his hardware, his motherboard, all his data left in the system. And then they realize that apparently Metal Sonic was connected to 5 different servers at the same time somehow, uploading the data. And that more and more data was being transported and then deleted off Metal Sonic. Right? So then they realize that they still need to get more data, but they need the code. Then they realize that Metal Sonic has the code in him to verify that it's actually Metal Sonic. So Knuckles grabs it out, and then Tails enters the code in while using multiple VPNs, for security, and he extracts all the data from those servers into a USB stick. And then Tails goes through the data to make sure there's no trackers or anything bad in there, and there's none he can see, just in case he makes a contingency, a little adapter to make it impossible for any spyware or viruses to be put on that drive, right? And then they analyze the data again to get any clues. And apparently, this is only one of 20 of them, and the rest are already there. They are just gathering energy. And then it tells them the location, but Tails has a suspicion that maybe that's not the location, and then he has a word with Sonic. And then while we're Sonic and we have that emerald, while we're running to get back to the city, right? We encounter somebody. It's weird. Sonic doesn't know how to describe it. How do I say this? it's a robotic echidna. It's like a robotic version of Knuckles. And then Sonic calls to make sure Knuckles is there, and he tells the crew what's happening. And then Tails says to get out of there because they can't risk getting the emerald lost or that robot absorbing the energy. And then Tails says that he'll try to make a device to hide the this version of the Chaos Emerald like power source so it can't be tracked. Tails and Knuckles make it, and then and Sonic quickly stops by, gets it, and then gets out of there. Right? And then we see Metal Knuckles catching up. But then Sonic has an idea. What if I absorbed this? He never tried to absorb one single Chaos Emerald, and that's what he does. And he's even faster now. There's a dark chill by him, but eventually that starts to fade away, and he's traveling even faster. And Tails asked Sonic why didn't he just go to his true speed, and then he said that he was afraid that maybe that robotic Knuckles could have absorbed some of that energy and then used it against him. Since that device only protected the Chaos Emerald's energy and not his. So they meet up. And Tails says that it's probably not at that location. But just in case, he tries to contact Rouge or Shadow. And Shadow's the one that answers. And Tails tells Shadow about the current situation and that he asks Shadow to get some gun teams to that supposed location to make sure it's not a trap. And Shadow agrees, and we see the gun soldiers arrive. They make sure there's no bombs or anything. It's not booby trapped from the outside, and then they go in. It's another abandoned Eggman base, right? And then they see him, but then they have a feeling that why would he just leave him out in the open? It feels weird. So, they make sure it's not trapped or anything, and it's not. And then they check the emeralds to make sure they're not explosive. And turns out they are. So they quickly get out of there. And then they tell Shadow about their current status and that they're retreating because they were presented with them, but they exploded. And they don't know if those were the real ones that just exploded or fake ones. Shadow quickly arrives there and helps Gun get out. At the same time, when that's over, he goes to that scene and then he gets all the remnants of those broken Dark Emeralds. And then we play as Sonic again, trying to go there and help even more. And then we see tons of robots there. And it was a trap. They don't know how the robots got there. And so we play as Sonic while an AI controls Shadow or the second player. And then we just beat up the robots. And then they go into the base and they analyze the data. And they find out that these are in fact fakes. So Tails says that maybe Dr. Eggman used the second Dark Emerald, which he thinks has finally been complete, to teleport all the robots here. Right? So Tails uses some of that dark energy to make another tool. It detects any dark energy in the world. and he connects it to a satellite, and then he gets around 20 locations of the most highest case of dark energy. So they get, and then they realize that Metal Sonic could be after them. Then Knuckles turns back, and boom, there's Metal Knuckles, and then he punches him, and then Metal Sonic tries to stop it like this, but the punch is too powerful, and the hand comes off. And then Tails punches that robotic Knuckles, right? And then he tries to fight back and stuff. And then Tails takes the remaining. He takes the that he takes that that thing attached to his plane that allowed them to defeat Metal Sonic. That he takes that out, and he takes a mini version of it, and then he shoots Metal Sonic